I auditioned for the show because it was time for me to try getting involved in theater again, aside from behind the scenes. It had been a really long time for me. I connect to this show on an emotional level, and ever since I first saw it in New York many moons ago, I have always wanted to do a performance of the show. So when studio players decided that they were going to bring it to Sheboygan, I wanted to do everything I could to be a part of that. I mentioned yesterday at our first rehearsal when we were all together that doing this show reminds me of one of my favorite sayings, which is, comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. Or maybe it's the other way around, but you get the gist of it. And I like that a lot. I think that the subject of this show will do just that. I think that people that feel like they've got it all figured out may be a little uncomfortable in spots during the show. And I think that people that are a little uncomfortable with the subject may come away feeling that it's just a normal part of life. I obviously don't know what Eve Ensler specifically had in mind as she wrote the transcripts for this show. However, I do know from listening to an introduction that she did to her audiobook, which is basically the script to the play, that she initially decided to interview people because she was trying to reconnect as a woman on a personal level to herself. She had been abused and molested as a child, and she spoke to an older woman who had some negative connotation to her own womanhood, and Eve became intrigued by that, and the more women she talked to, the more things she found we all had in common, and she really claims that the show possessed her, that she didn't really seek it. The more familiar I get with these monologues, the more I can believe that that's really what happened. Again, what I said before, I believe that this show is basically there to make people more comfortable with subjects that need to be discussed and haven't been. That's a tough question to answer. Some of it's difficult to memorize. I feel that just the way the script is written, there are certain lists, let's say, that are difficult for an old dog to teach herself a new trick and memorize again. But I relate to a lot of these monologues, not necessarily because I've experienced the same things, but because I think a woman that reaches my age in life has a lot of life experience and sees a lot of different things. And if you keep yourself open to those things, you notice attitudes in women at different stages in their lives. And so in that respect, it's been pretty easy for me. You know, the intricacies of memorizing any script that you're going to perform can be difficult or easy for different people. That part of it is a little easier than I thought it was going to be, but we'll really have to wait and see when opening night comes how well I've done with that. My favorite monologue, without a doubt, is The Flood. I love her. I love her. She could, although I'm not a Jewish woman, I have some Italian in my family, and I sometimes feel that she's my grandmother. Being directed by my daughter is a very unique experience for me personally. I'm excited about it. I'm nervous about it. I respect her as a professional, in her trade, and I think she's already given me a lot of great guidance and confidence, which I sometimes lack when it comes to these kinds of things. She's got an insight which kind of surprises me for a woman her age. And so I'm really looking forward to this process. You know, there's that whole thing, role reversal. You don't want to disappoint. I don't want to disappoint myself. I also don't want to disappoint her. Her name goes on the credits as the director. If Mom screws up, it makes her look bad for putting her mother in the show. So we don't want that. More than just this show, something that I really want people to be aware of is that Studio Players is such a fantastic opportunity, both for actors and for our audience locally. It's an intimate experience, without a doubt. Having helped work on the crew for Sylvia when we did that show, I got to see the interaction with the audience and the people on stage, and I thought it's not something that's readily available to us in our community. I love that we're doing material that makes people stop and think. I mean, it's all well and good to be entertained and to be happy, which hopefully this show will still do for people, but I like the fact that it's just a little bit outrageous and that people will definitely talk about it. Like it or not, they'll have things to think about and things to discuss with each other. And I think that's all really good for the community. So, yeah, I hope Studio Players is here for a really long time.